All right, guys, welcome to the first episode of the Adoptology podcast with my mom, Christy Guenther. And this podcast is about adoption, and we're going to talk about it. First, let me say something about me. My name is Wilson Guenther. I am from Haiti. I was adopted at the age of 10, right? 10,
Yeah.
10 and a half. I used to live with my biological parents for 6 years until they put me up for adoption. I'm Haitian American.
You lived in the orphanage from six until 10 and a half.
6 to 10 and a half.
Mm.
Asian American, been in America for 11 years. My mom is still very much involved in the adoption space, and I've had opportunity.
Your orphanage in Haiti.
Yeah, she helps on my orphanage in Haiti still this day. I did an honor to get in contact with a bunch of brothers and sisters I had in the same orphanage as me, and also biological family over the years. And I've heard a bunch of stories from good to bad. Why I felt called to create this podcast is the exact reason. Is to tell the stories of adoption, what adoption could be, the worst parts of it. Adoption can be great, although it could also be bad. So we're just here to shed a light. We're gonna have a bunch of guests for this series and just shed a light on it and everything adoption. What do you think adoption needs this space?
I think adoption needs this space because, it's a part of our world today, right? Adoption, just like you said, the good, the bad, the ugly. And I think it's to create a safe space for people to share their story, the good stories, the bad stories.
Yeah.
Maybe for someone who's thinking about adoption, or even if you're not thinking about adoption, just to be aware of some of the trauma people came from. I don't know. Are you ready to dive into some of that? Are you open to that?
Oh yeah,
Talking about your adoption, the good,
Yeah.
the bad, the ugly,
the good, the bad, the
for
ugly.
you personally. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I think it's good, right? I think the world needs to hear it. And even if you are not in the adoption process, you've come across somebody that is. So I think it's good to talk about it and let's be real about it.
Yeah, it's gonna be completely unfiltered. Everything you hear is
Good.
what you're gonna hear.
Yeah.
Like, because adoption can be ugly, it can be really good.
I don't disagree.
We're gonna talk. We're not talking about just international adoptions in this podcast. We're talking about here in America, in your hometown. We're talking about
Foster care.
everywhere, foster care, the system, every system of adoption, and we're here to shed a light on all of it. And I've been in contact with a lot of people,
Mhm.
and we're gonna have a lot of guests on here. We have friends who adopted. Adoption is really close to our family, and
Well, we've had kids in our home for a short period of time as well.
we've been fostered.
I fostered kids.
We're gonna touch up on that too. The origin of the podcast, where the idea for the podcast came from. Honestly, I think my mom has been asking me to just start this podcast for years now, something like this for years, just to talk and have an open space. And I felt really called by God lately to just do it. After this one podcast I had with this lady she has her own podcast about adoption called The Adoption Journey. She has it releasing in a few months from now. And I'm like, wow, I should really start my own podcast and use my platform to shed a light on what this is. And why now is God. Let's just say that is God. Because I've been really stubborn because I never wanted my platform to be just about adoption. I wanted it to just be funny, all of that. But I felt called. There's a lot of things going on in the adoption world, and I've been blessed enough to have this platform to talk about it. So I'm gonna use it to talk about it. I'm gonna have this own show. I think right now I want to do 25, 30 episodes every 6 months, releasing bi-week every Friday, and just to shed a light on it. Like, what do you think now would be the best time to start this podcast? What do you think? Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Right? We've been talking about it for years. And I think that you're at a good point in your life, and I think we're at a good point. And why not?
hmm
Right? Why not?
So what do you think what would make this podcast different from all the other adoption podcasts out there?
I think one of the things that could possibly make us different is that you are adopted, and we're obviously a biracial family, right? So that's unique that I mean, trying to figure out how to raise a 21-year-old Black male as white parents. I think that's interesting, right? I think that's we're figuring things out. And why now? Because why not? I just think it's important to talk about it, to dive into it and see what we can do to maybe shed hope, shed light, help people, or just to bring good stories and and hard stories to people. The reality, right? It's like a reality of adoption.
Yeah, like it really does make it different because, like I said before, my mother is still involved in the adoption space outside of me. Like she's helping, she's helped a bunch of kids. Both my parents, like she said, we fostered a bunch of kids. I had to share my room with kids who've only lived with us for a few months, and we've seen their story, we've seen their personalities, and we've seen the turmoils in their life, and them being with us, the love they receive. Like the purpose of this episode, this series is not, we're not here to be experts on adoption. We're not here to tell you what to do. We're not here to be fixers. We're not here to be saviors. We're just here to inform, tell our story, and bring on people on the podcast to share their stories and their viewpoints on adoption. We're not going to just bring people who've been adopted, but we're going to bring adopted families. We're going to bring people who run homes, people who've been kicked out of home, people who are completely against adoption system, but they've been adopted before. People who've had bad experience. So we're just here to shed a light. That's all we're here to do. We're not here to tell you what to do. We're not here to, we are going to say what adoption should look like and what you should expect and the expectations before you're adopted. We're going to inform on that. But that's all here, there, and say, like, you take it how you want it and you do with it what you will. And what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think for me, I just keep thinking of like just being real, right? It's just straight up being real, just straight up sharing real stories from real people, good, bad, ugly, heartbreaking to heartfelt, just straight up truth and real things about adoption.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, one of the segments we're gonna have in this series is Adoption 101, the basics plus beyond. It's just gonna be a conversation between me and my mom, and if we have a guest, it's gonna be a conversation between all three of us, and with my dad under all four of us, because we're gonna have three people, as many as we can, on this podcast just to talk. I'm gonna start by asking you this question: what is adoption, legally, emotionally, and practically?
We'll just start off with a hard question, why don't you? Bang, out the door. What is adoption? Well, I mean, adoption legally, right? You said the word legally. Legally is when you take a child, like you have our last name. We are legally your parents. We had to go through the legal process for you to become our child. So it's lots of steps, right? That could take years. It took us almost 4 years, all in all, for you to do that. So whatever system you use. So legally, you are legally my child just as much as the other three are. You are legally my child. But but for me and your dad, it was our heart that yes, you're legally your child, but we want to treat you just like we do your other siblings, right? It's going to look a little different just because you come, I didn't birth you naturally, and you came at 10 and a half with some trauma and some different cultural differences. So it looks different a little bit, but we don't want you to feel any less than your siblings. We want you to feel just as much a part of our family as your siblings. So to me, that's what adoption is. It's where you're being grafted into our family just like everyone else, just like the other siblings. What about you? What do you think adoption is? As an adopted child yourself, what do you think? And yours is unique because you're an internationally adopted child. Some kid maybe foster care, maybe family adoption, right? You've got family adoption, you got foster care, you got what do you think it is?
Okay. Personally, as an adoptee, I think adoption is acceptance and inviting and welcoming. That's what it should be, and being prepared for whatever to come with that. You know what? Adoption is acceptance and inviting. Just like the Bible says that God invites us to be in his family, and then he's going to love you no matter what. No matter what you do, no matter what happens, he's there to grow with you. Like over the years, I'm like, when I first came to America, I was not like the best person, the best adopted. Like we went to all trials and tribulations. And I'm like, at this
You were so Haitian stubborn.
Haitians, you know what she's talking about. But like, and I was like, this point, I was like, oh, they're gonna kick me out. They're gonna kick me out. Let me go back. But like, no, they never did that. It's like they worked through all the rough patches. They accepted everything. They adapted to everything. So I think adoption is also adapting. Adapting. It's being ready.
You as a person adapting?
Yeah, you as a person or whoever it is, it's
The family?
the family adapting.
Okay.
Every party adapting because you don't know what you're bringing on. Like you guys got to be ready for whatever. Like you can't have a perfect plan. Like you can't. Obviously, you can't have a perfect plan. So I guess it's welcoming and accepting and adapting. That's what it is to me.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, so this next one is what's the idealized version versus the real version of adoption? Like what?
Yeah,
What do people think it is versus what actually?
Okay, that actually is a really good question. So I think that sometimes there's a misconception out there that whenever you adopt a child, particularly from an international orphanage that may be poor, right? Or maybe even, I would say even foster care, maybe from a poor family, there's this idealization that parents could have. I've heard it many times that they're going to bring the child home and the child is going to be so thankful for you as a parent. They're going to be like, you're the best parent in the world. Thank you for saving me. You're my savior, my hero. And because of you, and then like they're just, the kid is perfect because you saved them from their bad situation, right? So there's a lot of parents or a lot of people who have that misconception, like, well, that kid just should love you because you saved them. That kid's gonna love you. And then I think there's also, okay, catch me, I'm right about this part though. There's also an idealization versus reality for the adoptee kid, because let's be honest, look, don't lie to the people out there. But when you thought you're coming to America, you thought you're coming to America to play video games, eat food, lay around, be on the couch, and you're gonna have this like perfect American life, and that we were rich just because we were from America, we were rich.
Yeah.
And then the reality came, and you're like, wait, what? I have to go to school. Wait, what? I have to do chores. Wait, I can't have everything that I want. Wait, I don't understand. I was very careful in Haiti not to give you everything that you wanted.
Yeah.
So I think you came home better prepared than it could have been,
Oh, yeah,
right?
we
Just
had some bouts.
because I spent a lot of time with you in Haiti, right?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of discipline that I already established with you. There's a lot of boundaries already established that you couldn't have everything.
Yeah.
But I think there's some misconceptions from both the
Yeah.
kid and the parent that it's going to be this ideal situation and it's going to be perfect. The kid's going to be obedient and perfect because they got rescued. And the parent thinks the child's going to be like, thank you for saving me. You're amazing. And the reality is that actually is not reality, right? It's not reality. I mean, look, let's be honest. You didn't come home the first day and be like, thank you for adopting me. You're like, what the heck is happening? It's all right. So
I was like, it was a very surreal moment for me because like I'm pretty sure I zoned out for like a whole day and a half trying to process what's happening. Like I got on the airplane for the first time, and then I went to all of this system. We spent like half the day in the airport because we had to go to customs. I'm a new citizen and all of that.
Yeah.
And it was just, I'm like, what is the world is happening? And then I went down this escalator.
You'd never been on an escalator.
Never been on an escalator. I'm like, why is this terrible?
You know what? You didn't.
I was freezing
You
cold.
didn't know what AC was. So the first time you turned on the little vent of the airplane, you went,
Yeah,
because you felt a cold blast of air. You didn't know what that was.
that was insane. I was like,
And you had a jacket on and a long sleeve. You were cold.
that's crazy. Okay, so this question is for you.
How did becoming an adopted parent challenge what you thought
Parenting would be.
Well, I worked really hard. Did a lot of research, read a lot, spent a lot of time with you in Haiti. So for me personally, I'll say personally, I wanted to know as much about your culture as I could, because I wanted to know what was culture and what was Wilson. Like I want to know what your culture was about. So thankfully I did a lot of prep work, right? I researched, I spent a lot of time in Haiti. I did research adoption, met with as many families as I could to talk about adoption. So I felt like I was pretty prepared. But then the reality of coming home, and after the newness wears off for the first like week or two or a couple of months in, and you're like, well, this is a lot of work. Like this is hard. Like this is hard stuff. And so I had to work really hard to make sure that I was consistent with you and work through your Haitian stubbornness, to make sure that
Yeah, I feel like it was like starting over when you got me because you were like, I think the girl's killer was like 12 or 15, 14 or 13, I can't remember. And I was 10. Yeah, he was 12. And the girls were like 8.
Yeah.
And you already raised, they know the routine. And then I come in.
So because we adopted you older, that makes a difference, right? That's different if you adopt an older kid that's like you, that were your age, and then the kids were older versus someone that's a baby. That's a whole different story. You adopt a kid when you're at birth, it's very different. You get to mold and shape that kid if you adopt them at birth versus when you came, you were already kind of set in some of your ways, right? So it's different depending on But yeah, no, it's hard. I hope people understand that adoption is not easy. Like it is hard. It is a hard journey. It's hard. It was hard to get you. That was a very hard, painful, hard, expensive process. And then adjusting, right? But I also want people to realize that it's hard for you too. Like I mean, it's for me to sit here and say it was hard for me. What about you? You got ripped out of your country, or you not ripped, but it was your choice because we asked you.
Snatch. Told you they stole me.
We asked if you wanted to be adopted, and you said yes. You told us yes, so that's when we started pursuing it. But think about the kid too. You're walking into a family that you've never met before, other than some trips to Haiti. I mean, well, you and I spent a lot of time together in Haiti, but everybody else didn't take as many trips as I did, right? And then you're going into this new home, new routine, new family. For you, a completely different country, completely you look different than everybody. So for you too, like it's hard on both ends, like both kids. And so maybe let's talk about not in the adoption process for international, but what about a foster care kid? Someone who's in the foster care system, or someone who's adopted by another family member. Like, that's hard on the kid too. Like, they're leaving their home or what's familiar to them. And most people think, why is this kid asking for their mom? That their mom didn't treat them well, or they come from abusive home. It's because they still love their parent. There's still an attachment to love your parent. Even if your parent is not a good parent, you still love your parent. There's still an emotional attachment, right? Get that? Because you still have an emotional attachment to your family lady. And so that's why this needs to be talked about, because it's reality.
This is hard. Okay, let's move on before. There's a lot to be talked about. This is why this series is going to be like 30 episodes long, and then we're going to get to another season.
Okay.
But we got the next segment is adoption, myth or fact. We're going to decide if it's a myth or a fact. Okay, adopted kids are lucky. I personally think that's a myth.
I think that's a myth too.
That's very much a myth, especially the stories I've heard. They've had like terrible lives. Their parents treat them differently than they do with their blood children, and it's just like it can be very miserable or very, very good. It could go many ways. So definitely a myth.
But I also think adopted, like, I feel lucky that they adopted you. So
Yeah.
I think it's also the parents could be lucky.
Yeah, parents could go both ways. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, it depends how you look at it, you know? Yeah. Okay, next one is love is enough. I like that. But
I like that.
I would say that's a myth. But
That okay.
It could be a myth, because this is why I think it's a myth, because I've seen adopted parents love their kids, but they don't do nothing for them. They treat them the same as they do their kids, even though they like, especially with transracial adopted families, is they treat them the same. They don't do any extra. They don't do. I'm not saying you have to go above and beyond, but like different kids, like even like I have you have 3 white kids and you have me, and we all get treated differently, and we all given what we need to, respective to what we need at the moment.
And
That's love.
I also think it can be myth because it's also about commitment, right? Is it not
commitment? Very much commitment.
Because commitment on good days and bad days, hard seasons, good, like we have good seasons and we have hard seasons. So love, yes, love is good,
love is
but
great.
It's also commitment.
It's commitment.
It's
like a choice. It's a decision.
Yeah, and it's like, and the other thing too is consistency. Like it's love, commitment, and consistency. Yeah, showing up.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. Because like there will be thoughts like you will love your kid. Like, the days it gets hard. Like me, I'm on fire all the time. I would be just fine.
Listen, you came at 10 and a half. I was doing kindergarten homeschool work with you. And you didn't want to do it.
Love is enough, but there's more to that. There's commitment.
Showing up and also, can I also tell you what it is? It's also getting your kid what your kid needs.
Yes, that's what I was saying the first time. It's like
you can't be
give them all the same.
So sorry, I'm not trying to like rat you out here, but we got you in a lot of counseling.
Yeah,
we did lots of different types and styles of counseling, just because I know that's what you needed. You can't be afraid to tackle that. Like you can't be like, oh, my kid doesn't need counseling. No, every adopted kid probably should.
That should be the first thing you look at before your kid gets in here.
So it has
foster care or not. Like
we had to be committed. Like I knew that you needed counseling. We had to get you caught up education wise, and we had to be realistic about where you were.
Yeah,
we didn't let you go spend the night at people's homes for a while, and then even then it was only a very select few people that we let you hang out with, because you still had lack of body control. You still had a lack of filter. You still didn't understand. So I was very select with the very few people that got to take you places or got to do things with you, because it's just a unique situation, right?
It is. And like to add on to that is like when you bring a kid from wherever home where they were before into your adopted family, there's a lot of problems that come with, like you said earlier, there's a lot of problems that come with. A lot of it is mental. And like most of the time, they don't even know they have repressed PTSD. Like I'm gonna be very transparent. I was peeing my bed to like 15 or 16, 15. When I stopped peeing my bed, 14, 15. It was very late. That was then I went to my first therapy session where I had I had multiple, but this is the first one where I like
EMDR.
Yeah, EMDR.
EMDR was to me, EMDR was to me the best turning point for you.
Yeah, that was the best turning point, because after that moment.
And hey, because of that, do you know what? I'm actually doing tomorrow. I start EMDR training.
Oh yeah, she's a counselor. We're gonna get to that too.
I'm starting that because tomorrow, because of you, because I saw how much it changed. It was like our turning point for you, right? But I mean, you did pee in your bed even during EMDR, but it was after all that was over is when you stopped.
Yeah, I stopped. Like to go on is like after I got into counseling, I didn't realize how much stuff back in Haiti that were repressed, and I completely blocked out. And I'm like, I had more body control, internal body control. I could hold on my fluids more when I sleep. I didn't realize I was even having nightmares. The dreams we're having were nightmares. I didn't even realize that, and that's why I was like,
Well, and it's because at night when you sleep, you would sleep so hard too. You just kind of lost control
I
of
just lost
everything.
control.
And you're having nightmares, and we
No
didn't
control.
know you were having nightmares.
It felt normal to me until I went to counseling. Oh wow,
Yeah.
this is not normal. This is not something that that I should be doing. Like, I was also quick to anger a lot too growing up, and it was just, I was just not. I didn't even know where it was coming from. Because I don't know a lot about my family back home. I don't know a lot medically, mentally, what they've been through, and so a lot of stuff, a little bit. But the Haitian medical system is crazy.
Oh, we know nothing medical.
Like, there's still stuff I'm trying to figure out about my body that probably my family back in Haiti suffers with that they don't know anything about.
Well, because they don't have access to medical care.
That's another topic we're gonna get into. There's so much we're gonna get into, but let's just do a whole factory reset on the kid until
we did that when you first got here.
Yeah,
we took you straight to Dr. Lee's office, and they did a full work on you. We dewormed you.
Yeah.
Parasite. We did full blood work. We got shots. We did all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. This one, and the myth or fact is the next one is adoption always means a better life. That's a myth.
Yeah, that's definitely a myth.
That's a myth.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a myth. I wish it wasn't, but it is.
For my scenario, I think it's a better life. I've had a better life. I've had a lot of opportunities with the things that I've been given through love and consideration, and just I think I don't know where I would be. I don't think I've been saved by any sense of the word, but I know now I have better life. I'm in a position where I can help people back in Haiti right now. That's what I think of that question, but it is a myth. It's like you're gonna find out in this series and this adoption pod. It's not just a series; it's gonna be something I'm gonna do for years on. But you're gonna find out it's not always nice and dandy. So it's definitely a myth. Yeah. I don't know this one, so I'm just gonna let you take it. Open adoption is easier than closed. I don't know what that means, so I'm gonna let you take on that.
So basically, kind of in a nutshell, open adoption means that there's some sort of communication between either the adoptive parent and the birth parent, and possibly even the child and the birth parent. And then closed means none. Like, the adoptive parent
have no say.
Doesn't even can't contact them, or don't even know who it is. Maybe there's zero information. So that's that in a very broad nutshell. That's what an open adoption and closed adoption. I would say for us, with you, we have an open adoption, and that was my choice. When we were in Haiti, I knew who your birth mom was, and so I reached out to her. She came and visited us at the orphanage multiple times. We took you to her house. Remember?
Yeah.
Taking you there a couple of times. So that was kind of my choice to have an open adoption. I mean, it can go either way, right?
Yeah.
It can be good or bad. I think it kind of depends on this. I mean, you can't judge every situation, right?
Yeah.
So I think it depends on the situation. It depends on the kid. Depends on the adoptive parents. Depends on the birth parents on what you choose. And I mean, this is very much debated in the adoptive community, to where you tell the kid their history, where they came from, or you don't. I mean, that's a huge debate. We chose to tell you, and we chose to keep the Haitian culture in you. We didn't want to take that out of you. We've chosen to be open to tell you everything. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
It depends on the day, right? So you have to do what's right for your family, for your kid, and your situation. I don't think that's black and white. I don't think that's a black and white answer. So
yeah. That's weird. Thank you for sharing on that. But I'm glad that you guys opened that door and let me communicate, because I talked to my family. We're gonna get to this into a different episode. I'm not ready to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of stuff. Let's just next episode.
Well, okay. And that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I always make the right choice or not as a parent.
But yeah, I think it's a great thing, because it does open your mind. But this next one is race doesn't matter if the family loves the child.
Race doesn't matter?
Yeah, race doesn't matter if the family loves.
Well, how they look at you and look at me?
Yeah, that's true. That's fact. Yeah, that's fact. I didn't read that right.
Look at me?
Yeah, that's true. But that's fact. Race doesn't matter.
Race does not matter. It's about,
Yeah, I don't know. I read that one. I don't know where I was reading it. But race does not matter if there's love in the family.
That's right.
If that love transcends everything, you'll even forget that the kid was adopted, the kid was black or nothing. You've seen the videos.
I forget.
They forget. This is actually real. They forget a lot, but it doesn't matter. Love transcends everything. Love, acceptance, and consistency transcends everything. You will learn that along the way. So that is a fact. Okay. Once adopted is the last one in the myth of fact. Once adopted, always adopted. It never leaves you. This one's iffy. I think it's. I feel like the way I take this question is like there's an identity in being adopted. I like knowing that I'm adopted. I like being because to me it's like I've been accepted by the family who did not have to accept me. They didn't have to do none of that. It's just accepted. So being adopted is something I hold dear to. It's like I'm never ashamed of it. I never talk down of it. So I think it's a fact for me because
well, I think
it depends how you take it.
But I think it can also be a fact too, because I think just because we're so comfortable with you and just because you're adopted, it doesn't mean that sometimes I have to stop and think, wait, hold on. You've been through trauma that I can't necessarily treat you like the same in a situation because you had different trauma growing up than my natural children did. So I think that's something to always keep in mind. I wish we could word it a little bit better. But I think it's always a good idea to look through that adopted lens at somebody because you're talking about their background, their history, their trauma. That may be why they think the way they think or do what they do. Maybe they weren't raised for the first few years of their life in a stable home, so they have to figure out what family is. So I think it's always good to look at an adopted kid through the lens of adopted kid, but not as a bad or negative stigma, right? It's not to be like, oh, you're the adopted kid. It's to look through that lens of maybe that's why you respond the way that you do. Maybe that's why you act the way that you do. Maybe I need to explain this a little bit more because of the trauma or because you weren't raised this way. So I don't think it's necessarily a negative stigma. It's just it's an enlightenment for you to how you can how someone can respond to an adopted child, adult person. Because there's a reason why sometimes people may respond the way they do.
Yeah, and then we will touch on more on that in later episodes. But this next segment is going to be called Ask Christy. And the reason why I have this segment is because not only does she still is involved in the adoption space heavily, she helps run the orphanage, and she's also a counselor. She works with kids. So there's going to be a segment that I might have with Dad when he's on there too. So it's Ask Brian. So this segment is going to be for guests who wants to ask my mom whether they've had a great adoption or a terrible adoption story. It's going to be their space to talk about, to ask, oh, Christy, should my parents be doing this? Should I have done this with my kids? What should I have done? So this is what
no pressure. No pressure.
But I know you can handle. That's why I have it in there.
No pressure, Christy. Okay.
So this segment is for that. But I do have one question for the day that I prepared because we don't have a guest today. So the question is, what should parents actually be asking themselves before they adopt that most never do? What questions should they be asking themselves before they consider adoption?
I think that before someone adopts, they need to really dig deep and say, am I called to do this? Am I called to adopt? Because it's going to be the hardest thing you have ever done in your life, but also one of the most rewarding things you've ever done in your life. But it is not an easy journey. It is not an easy road. And so you have to know without a shadow of a doubt, because it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. It could cost you lots of things. It could cost you family members. It costs you money. It costs you time. There's a lot of costs and sacrifices, but it's so worth it, right? I would do it all over again to have you here with us. I would do everything over again, tenfold. I would do it. But you have to have that commitment. It is a life. Are you willing to commit your life for a lifetime with that child? It is not a 10-year commitment. It is a lifetime commitment, and you better be called to do it. If you're going to do it right and you're going to do it good, you better be called. And let's just honestly say sometimes adoptions don't work out, and it may be on either end, right? It could be the kid just chooses to rebel and leave, or it could be the parent is doing everything they can, or it could go either way, right? But you better be called to do it, because I've seen it both ways. I've seen where the kid has just completely rebelled, and I've seen parents maybe could make better choices or could do some things differently. I've seen both sides of it, but you better be called. You better be called without a shadow of a doubt. Because if you're not called, it's going to be, it will be a hard, possibly miserable journey.
Yeah, that's real. That's why I have this segment, because I could not have said that. So that's why I have this segment. And then we're going to have my dad, so we can have a men perspective of adoption. But we're going to close out, and then I'm going to wrap up with just telling you what's next in the podcast, why these convos are important, and what's still learning in adoption.
Yeah, because it's very different. How do you parent a 21-year-old?
Yeah. But what's next on the podcast is next episode is gonna be my dad, because it is important to have a male and a female adopted parents and stuff like that. So we're gonna have his perspective as a man and as a dad to an adoptive son, whether just to shed his light on it and how it was like. So we're gonna have him there, and then later on we're gonna have both of them in the podcast. And sometimes I won't even be in the podcast. Actually, it's gonna be most of the time I won't even be on it. It's just gonna be a channel to talk. Maybe it might be my sister, but this is gonna be the main three hosts. It's gonna be me, my mom, and my dad. But why these conversations? They aren't about blame. They're about truth. Yeah. Just to shed a light. Like I said, they're truth. They're not to blame nobody. They're not to put nobody at fault. They're just to enlighten what adoption is, the whole of it.
I think it's a great word we use would be connection.
Connection.
I want to be able to connect people. I don't care, good, bad, ugly, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's an adoption family, right? Just connecting people one way or another. If you are adopted, have adopted, foster care system, thinking about adopting, have a heart for adoption. Maybe you haven't adopted, but you have a heart for it. I think it's just connecting everybody together in one space, and also no judgment. Right?
No judgment, because we're still learning.
This is a judge-free zone, because I sure in the heck will sit here and tell you that I have made my fair share of mistakes when it comes to parenting. And
it happens.
I mean, so there's no judgment from you, right?
Yeah.
Because we've
all still learning. We're all still in this. Like, I'm always gonna be adopted family. This is always gonna be the family. So
I hope people understand that. Yeah. Let's say if you are watching this and you had an adoption go bad, or maybe you were a parent and your child rebelled and they're not there. Could potentially be a lot of hurt when it comes to this. And there's no judgment. There's nothing but love, and say that we see you. Like, we get it. We see you. We know that this is a hard journey. Let's figure this out together, or let's heal together. Let's work through the hurt together. Let's work through the healing together, because it's not easy, right? It's not, I don't know. I just want people to know that it is hard, and I see you. Yeah.
That's awesome. But that's really it in the first episode of the Adoptology. I want to say thank you for doing this. Thank you for having.
I have to do one thing.
What?
There's a hole right here.
Okay, all my shirts are thrifted.
Right here.
All my shirts are thrifted.
I just poke you in this hole.
You're so weird. Okay, all my shirts are thrifted, so there's a lot of holes in all my shirts.
Can you get some new shirts?
I've been to that phase where I bought a lot of new clothes. I like
thrifted clothes for Wilson's new clothes.
Oh, we're gonna start a good fun now. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Tune in for the next episode. I will have my dad, and then the way I'm gonna have this structured is I'm gonna start close to the family, to the adopted families I know, and then their kids and stuff like that. And then I'm gonna work out with people who I don't know, strangers. So, are y'all ready for this? Let's go. That's it. Goodbye.